What is a book that you've gifted the most?
A Nerd in Shining Armor. That's just a book about someone who's nerdy, who you wouldn't think would be cool, and he ends up being cool, and he actually saves someone's life. So, yeah.
There you go.
There's a book that I gift co-workers because I work with special needs students. It's called 10 Things Your Autistic Child Wishes That You Knew. It's really helpful.
I just read this book as a project for English, and it was called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. And it was so good, because I'm in high school and the book is about a high schooler, I could connect to the characters so much because we're both at the same age. So it was really nice to see that. I actually had a friend and I told him to read it, and then once he did, he read it in class, and he would just burst into laughter sometimes because he thought that it was so funny. So if you want to laugh, it's a good book to read.
Ooh, man. Probably said the Bible, I guess. Everybody needs some help now and again. Some guidance, you know?
I've never gifted a book, but if I would, it would be The Elegance of the Hedgehog.
You've never gifted a book?
Why that one?
It caused me to have an existential crisis, and I think that everyone deserves to have an existential crisis.
What's it about?
It's about a landlady who is in an apartment in France, and everyone in her apartment is super rich and they just don't get it, and she gets it, and it's all about people in the world who need to get it, and I think that's something that everyone needs to do. So I think, yeah, everyone needs to read it, absolutely.
I would say the book that I've gifted the most is this book called Where Chefs Eat.
Okay.
Should I describe it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's exactly what it sounds like, where chefs globally, it's their favorite places throughout various countries and cities and big and small. It's just their favorite spots, whether it's the place they go to after work or the place where they really want to get really fancy and taste some new stuff that will inspire them.
Have you visited a lot of the spots that they talk about in the book?
Yes, I have, and I have a lot of friends that I've met along the way, and so usually when I go to a new place, I ask them have you ever been here? Because I always look at the book before I go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I've been to a few of them, and it's crazy. They've always been good. It's never let me down.
Great Expectations, because it teaches basically that in life you don't need monetary things to succeed. You just need good morals and good values.
Lullaby by Chuck Palahniuk. The book is just so moving. It's about a model who distorts her face and she has to find herself again.
Knots by, I don't know how to say her name. It's Oi.
How do you spell it?
The name is K-N-O-T-S.
K-N-O-T-S.
Knots?
Knots?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce the author's name, but it's just a collection of short stories. I really like it.
Okay, why do you think you gift that the most?
Oh, it's so weird. I don't know, I like giving it to people so they can have that weird experience.
Cool. There you go.
The 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
Why?
Because it's a really good book. I liked it, I read it, and I loved it, so that's the one that I choose to go ahead and give the most.
Oh, I don't know. Huckleberry Finn. I've been gifted that and have both gifted that because I read it not for school, but for pleasure, later on, and I thought it was wonderful. It was such a good story. It's just a lot of good stuff. So it's probably, yeah, I think that would be it. So essentially it's about Huckleberry Finn who escapes his abusive father by faking his own death, and then lives on an island with one of his friends who's also a slave, because it does take place during this time. It's really rough. So there's a lot of interpersonal relationships that are really interesting to think, but also just, it's a whole different writing style. I feel like I read a lot of contemporary stuff, and a lot of it's just for the story, and I don't know, I just enjoyed it a lot, and I think it's definitely a book worth reading nowadays.
My answer is Sister Outsider, which is a collection of Audre Lorde poems and essays, and it's amazing.
Why do you think you gift it so often?
It's kind of like one of those movies where every single time you watch it, you get something different from it. So many of the essays, in particular an essay called The Transformation of Silence Through Language and Action. I try to read it at least 5 times a year, and every single time I read it I find something new and amazing and eye-opening, and just a gem that's in there. And helps me sort of reframe my mindset and my view of my own life.
Recently, it's called Letting Go, Pathway to Surrender by, I think it's David Hawkins, something like that. But if you look up the title, you'll find it. The reason why is because it really teaches about how to be more self-aware when it comes to your own emotions, and how things in the past or traumas in the past, holding on to them doesn't actually serve you from achieving what you want in life.
The book I probably give the most is Traveling with Your Pet for California. So for people who want to go find places to live, sleep, and eat, and what campgrounds allow pets, what national parks allow pets, and hotels and restaurants all along the coast.
Well, it's probably children's books because I have lots of nieces and nephews. So probably the most is that children's book, The Mitten, because it has beautiful illustrations and I think kids really respond to the artwork, and I want kids to love art.
A Man Named Ove, and which was a really good book. So I think I would recommend that because it was the last one I read.
What was it about?
It's about an old man that is trying to commit suicide, that he keeps getting interrupted every time he tries, and he figures out that the reason why he hasn't finished is because there's so many people that need his help. And it just turns into, there's so many people that need his help that he just quits trying.
I just read this book, Fahrenheit 451. It shows you not to get too caught up in technology and spend time socializing with others and really appreciate what we have. It shows you to also share your opinion and that your opinion is important. And yeah, it's a great book. Everybody should read it. It teaches you a lot of great lessons.
I would have to say Freakonomics. It's a book about like these really interesting theories that these two economists come up with, like why sumo wrestlers cheat and like why people are called the way they're called, like destiny and stuff like that. I just think it's kind of interesting.
I'd say Unashamed by Lecrae.
Why is that?
It's a book just because, I mean, to me, I resonated with a lot, and I just feel it brings a nice message that people could listen to. So I've referred it to a couple of homies of mine and stuff like that. So that's the only book that I really read extensively over and over again too. So I guess that's why.
And what is it about?
Basically, so he's a rapper, you know, and he's actually pretty strong in his faith and believing in Christ and stuff like that. So he's just pretty much his whole life story and his testimony, and just how he hasn't changed, you know, as a person, how he's grown and evolved, and pretty much just trying to make an impact in the world. So, yeah.
It's called Outliers. This book, it's about there's no such thing as a talent or a gift, but it's a amount of time and dedication and you being born in the right place that will get you to where you will end up in life to succeed.
Oh, Tim Ferriss loves to ask that question in his podcast. The book that I've gifted the most is the book that I give at baby showers. It's like 12 weeks to sleep. It's how to teach your baby to fall asleep really quickly.
Okay, why do you think you give that the most?
Because I've heard it works very well. I've never had a baby, so I don't know, but that's what the mothers have told me.
Cool. Tim Ferriss is actually the reason why I'm asking this question.
No!
Yeah. Yeah, I listen to that all the time.
I love his podcast.
What's up, guys? My name is Thoraya, and I'm the owner of this channel. I'm also the person behind the camera, and I thought I'd take a minute to thank all the subscribers I've gained so far, and maybe ask new viewers to hit the subscribe button if you like this episode, or if you're a fan of my channel in general. That would mean a lot. Thank you.